Welcome to your 12 sign horoscopes for Mars in the sign of Taurus for May 18th to June 28th. I just want to remind you that if you haven't checked out your video, your collective video for Mars in the sign of Taurus, then it is available for you to check out on my YouTube channel to really delve deeply into the themes of Mars and Taurus, into what it's really all about, into the real meaning of it, and how it applies to everybody. In that video, I talked about things like stability, and moving slow and steady, and being deliberate about your actions, and knowing your values. Really knowing your values. And so, to understand how this applies to your given sign, your given sun, moon, and rising sign, go back and watch that video. It's only 30 minutes long. It's one of the shorter ones I've done, talking about the themes of Mars and Taurus. I think you'll find it very, very interesting, because this video builds off of and comes off of that other video. So it helps to watch both so that you get a holistic understanding of this energy. So tune in for how you can grow and learn from and evolve from this transit of Mars in the sign of Taurus. So, watch for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising sign is most important because it's your rising sign is really what you were born in. What your soul is calling you towards. You have to go to astro.com to find your rising sign, your moon sign. Your moon sign is more emotionally internal. More emotional, more subjective, and then your sun sign is can be very, very difficult for you to hear new information because it's your ego. And our egos very, very defensive and very, very wanting to do things their own way and not open to new information. So I challenge you for your sun sign to be more open to the new information that I give you. So, now let us delve in. Timestamps are in the description of this video. Also, below the video are just basic summaries of your signs and what you need to know. I always put those, I always put summaries of every sign, little line, for every sign and what every sign needs to know, basically. So I will provide you that below. But anyway, let us delve in. So let's first talk about Aries. So, for Aries, I want to start out by saying, instead of rushing, because, Aries is always about, I got to charge forward, I got to move full charge, I got to move full speed at something. I got to be very, very ambitious at something. Very, very, I got to merge through it and, brim through it and, all these kind of things like that, which is very, very, very much about, rush, and I got to be impulsive, and I got to be aggressive, and I got to do all that. Like this Mars and Taurus transit is saying to Aries, slow down and take your time. Because, when you slow down and take your time, you will find that, you are, much more, aware of yourself, and you are more, cautious, and you're more in your soul and not in the ego. So slow down with whatever you're doing. Doesn't have to be a rush. You have all the time in the world to do it, Aries. You have all the time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't have to rush at something so intensely. Like, cool down a little bit. This is what this transit is saying. And I'm going to ask you a deep question, and I mean this in the most compassionate way to me, because I'm an Aries and other Aries. Being self-aware of the need to rush is very, very important. Asking yourself, why do you need to rush? Why do you need to rush? What part of you needs to rush? What part of you inside yourself needs to just go full force at something and full speed at something and, rush in a way where you are not taking your time, where you are going up the steps and the pink dyes and all these kind of things like that, where you are just not taking your time. So, the question for Aries is, what part of you feels this need to always rush, feels this need to always be first, and always get things done as soon as possible? It's one thing to be courageous and be assertive and be all of these wonderful qualities of courage and bravery and boldness, which Aries does embody. But what part of you needs to rush, Aries? What part of you needs to get things done as soon as possible? And you're not patient to wait for those things. Now it is time to slow down. Why is it so imperative to rush? That's a question you can ask yourself. Is it your ego self, or is it your soul that's saying, I can take my time? I'm worthy of taking my time. The other thing is not to act out of impulse, not to be so impulsive, with what you are deciding to do. And instead, I'm asking Aries to really, really consider what they're going to do. To really, really consider being deliberate with what they do, being very, very intentional about what they do, to take their time through it. Don't just act out of impulse because, it looks good or it feels good, on the surface or whatever. Really, really check in with yourself and ask, do I really want this? In my soul and in my authenticity, do I really want this in my life? And, what it's really about is it is really about, being deliberate with what you do, doing it intentionally. Really consider what you do before you do it instead of acting out of impulse. That's very, very important. It's very, very healthy to do that, to consider that. And this is about not being so self-focused entirely. Not being so self-focused in a way where you're in your ego, so about yourself and, your own goals and your own, missions and your own, the things that I have to get done, the things that I have to prove, like this whole thing about, proving yourself, having to prove yourself to the world, having to prove yourself to everyone, to, the universe, about, how special you are, and, how brave and how strong you are to try to be better and bigger than others. I think that that's false. I think that that's not really the most secure expression of your energy. So instead of being so self-focused on yourself and so tied into your sense of self, and when I say sense of self, I'm not talking about your real self, I'm talking about your false sense of self, your ego self, and enjoy time with others in relationship. Enjoying time with others in your life. That's very, very important, to make time for others, to make time for relationship. And so, can you open up your heart to relationship? When you are, self-focused, completely all in yourself, your goals, that's the ego. That's your ego. So get out of your ego and trust and know that your soul may desire connection. Your soul may desire the sensual connection of being with another. Really, really spending time, with another and bonding on a deep level, bonding on a, like enjoying the nice luxury and the lux of what they're doing. Enjoying the nice sensual tastes and pleasures of, what they're deciding to do. And, enjoying, all of what they're doing, with everything in its sort of wake of all that comes in with it. So, your soul, may really, really want at this time sensuality, kindness, compassion, love, when it comes to the sensual things, really, really, milking the pleasure out of the DVD settings, out of the, the connection with others in that kind of way, when it comes to sensuality specifically. So that's what you need to know for this Mars and Taurus transit. So, moving on to Taurus now, moving on to, the sign of Taurus. So, with Taurus, Mars is in your sign. And so Mars and Taurus, as I've said in that other video, gets stuck in a rut because it doesn't know how to move itself out of it. It doesn't know how to push itself out of the rut to get itself to get moving, because it's like, oh, I want to spend time in the fields and the in the grass and the fruit and the the food of all these sensual pleasures of life. But Mars is here to support you to get going, to support you to get moving, really. So Mars is here to, to motivate you in very, very big ways. Motivating you to get your energy moving and not being not being stuck in your ways, Taurus. Not being very, very, fixed and rigid when it comes to, I have this plan of stability, and, I'm so determined, for this plan of stability. I'm so fixed in this plan of stability that I'm so egoic and so, I'm not going to bend no matter what. I'm not going to change no matter what. I'm so stuck. I'm so, whatever. No. What it really, really comes down to is, is yes, being steadfast toward your goals, Taurus, being very, very steadfast and stubborn and committed towards your goals, which you already are, and Mars can really, really help you out with being committed, but also surrendering to life on life's terms. Surrendering to the universe, surrendering to spirit, knowing that it has your back. Trusting that the universe has your back, that whatever you do, the universe will support you with that. The universe will help you with that. The universe will be on your side with that, and in a way that's very, very special, in a way that's very, very sacred for you, in a way that's really going to help you out. So yes, be steadfast. Yes, be committed, but also trust in the higher plan, trust in spirit. You cannot be having your life suction cupped on the end of your nose. Me. All that. Where you're, the one working, and providing, and working so hard, and being so stubborn, trying to maintain comfort, stability, and holding yourself back from expanding and growing and changing, and not co-creating with the universe, and not, bending with the universe. It's like I made a video last night about connecting to your soul and not your ego. The whole thing about having to earn your way through life is an old and outdated belief. That to indicate that is like saying the universe is cruel, the universe is unfeeling. No, the truth is, you're not victim to the universe. You have power to co-create your life with spirit. You don't have to earn your way. It's not about earning your way. It's about moving with the universe and, working with the universe to build the life of your dreams, to build the life of stability that you want for yourself. So that's, really something to, really, really keep in mind. So, being steadfast toward your goals while being open to change. And then knowing that Spirit has a higher plan for you. You're trusting in the divine that it knows what's best for you. And, being stubborn can actually be a good thing. Being stubborn is a very, very good quality, that you have, Taurus. It's a really, really good quality, indeed, to be stubborn. It's a really, really great attribute to have because it shows that you have the will. It shows that you have the commitment. It shows that you, will use your will and your, what you have to bring to the table, what you have to offer to the world, what goals you have to achieve to your advantage. It's so stubborn, being so willing, like I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to, bend my ways. I'm not going to change my ways. I'm not going to give up my mission, what I want to do. Like that's a good quality. You just don't want to be rigid and not in the flow with that. Well, it's good to be stubborn and committed because it feels right in your soul, not because I'm trying to keep so rigid. I can't bend. I have to keep going. No. And that is not how it should be, Taurus. It should be a soul thing that you are so stubborn and focused on your goals. So, moving on to Gemini. Now Gemini is so much in the mind, so much in the head of, all the thoughts, all the logic, all the conversations here, all the words there, everything going on. Any place, whatsoever to any business or trade. So it's about attending to your body. It is really, really about attending to your body. Getting out of the head, getting out of the thoughts, getting out of the logic, and asking yourself, what does your body need on a physical level? What do you need on a physical level? Food, water, sleep. All of these immediate physical needs that are very, very important for you. They're very, very, huge for you, in a way. So, asking yourself, what do I need on a physical level? Getting out of the headspace of all the thoughts and all the stimulus and all the crazy ungrounded energy that you have, because Gemini is a really, really ungrounded sign and a really, really ungrounded energy. So, what we want to do is we want to ground that energy into something that says, I'm attending to my body and I'm taking care of the vessel that houses my spirit and my soul. The body is a vessel that we can use to get through, the world with, what we want to do in a way. So, asking yourself, what does your body need on a physical level? What does it need physically to feel secure within itself? Attending to those needs. And then how can you give yourself security and comfort in your immediate environment? How can you give yourself this, these qualities in your environment? Now, with Gemini, this is really about what kind of security can you give yourself? What kind of true security? can you allow for yourself, in a way? So, this is really, really about grounding and about having comfort to your immediate environment and living from a place of stability. Gemini is just so spontaneous, just wants to go in all these directions and all these new ideas all at once, and go here and go there, and really, really go everywhere and be totally free and spontaneous. But this is about not being so scattered all over the place, not going in one direction, another direction, all these directions, but it is about grounding it and doing what brings you stability. And then there is this need here with this, to have strong values. Gemini, one very, very important thing that I've spoken about, Gemini before on previous videos, is that it doesn't have strong values. It doesn't really have strong values with, what it really wants and needs, and what its passions are, and what its interests are, all of this. It doesn't really have that. And, and so it's important for them to determine what their values are, what is most important to them that will guide how they act, what really matters to them in a way, they can really use that to their advantage. So finding values, of what they are deciding to do and what they are deciding to act upon with that is very, very important. And then in terms of relationship, it's not about having superficial connections, but having connections where you and the other person value each other. Gemini can just go all over the place and get in its head with all these superficial connections that it has. One person over here, one person over there. In the head, talking, chattery, Gemini. Chattery, Gemini, like you could make a song out of it. Like, no, that's not grounded. That's not stable. That's not necessarily right. So, it's about, it's about forming meaningful connections with others and finding somebody that you value. It's about finding somebody that you value. Whom you value. I always make that mistake grammatically. Who you value. Finding people who you value in a way that these people are important to you. Why not just, getting caught in being open to just anyone and everyone and being, all up in the head or, whatever. But it is about, knowing, okay, these people are not for me. These are not my crowd. These people do not have my same beliefs and ideas and values and feelings on things. So I'm going to choose the people who do. Cancer. So this particular Mars and Taurus transit is asking you what grounds you and gives you material security. What really brings groundedness and peace to your heart, Cancer. This is, really, what it takes to, really live in this life is grounding. What gives you the security of grounding. And it's about focusing on your material security instead of getting caught in your moody tendencies. Because Cancer can get all in its mood, feeling this way and that way. And feeling very, very, like feeling sad one moment, happy the next, and all these kind of things like that. And it is really, really about getting out of the moodiness, getting out of the emotions, and focusing on what grounds and stabilizes you during this time. Because this will motivate you. During this time, we are motivated to create groundedness and stability. That's what Mars in Taurus is really, really motivated to act upon, is groundedness and and stability. So and then it is time to focus on what gives you comfort. What gives you comfort. That is very, very important as well. So for Cancers, what gives you comfort? What makes you feel very, very comfortable in your skin? What makes you feel grounded in your skin? Nice house, family by your side, nice clothes, good food, good nourishing food, not the the overindulgent food that you tend to eat just because you want the comfort. I think Cancers can really, really turn to food as a means of soothing themselves, but it can be where it's an addiction, where it's a crutch that you can fall on, as opposed to just dealing and really feeling your emotions. You just escape it through food. So food can be healing and nourishing, but if you're using it to get out of your emotions, then that's not very, very healthy. So, to soothe them, yes, but to get out of them, no. So, what makes you come back down to earth? And what makes you feel stable? That's what I want to ask you. And what can you do around your house that can be beneficial for your family? Because Cancer is about, the family, the home, the, your home life, your immediate environment, the people that care about you deeply. So, how can you be of use to them? How can you be of use to that to your family? What can you do that's productive around the home? Build the house, cook the meals, clean up, any household chore, helping kids with their homework or whatever, playing a game and helping them with a skill or something in the home and the family that is you being of use, where you're putting the work in to what you value. Don't put your emotional investment in what you don't value, in what's not who is and what isn't worth it to you. Put it into what you truly value, and then you'll really, really be wonderfully great and swim freely in this energy. So Leo, instead of overspending, because Leo can get very, very attached to the overspending qualities of things. It can be very, very much about just spending all this money on these luxurious, extravagant things and being caught in the shiny things, being caught in the very, very superficial elements of life that can really, really get you down and can get you in a very, very stuck place with things. And so it's about being discerning about how you spend your money. Being discerning about how you spend your money is very, very important for Leos during this time. And asking yourself, do I really want this thing? Or is it just an impulse buy? Or is it something that I'm getting caught in the shiny things and I'm just buying it just for the sake of, oh, that looks good. Oh, that'll be wonderful. Oh, that'll be Tatcherino. And that won't really be in my soul what I really, really want deeply on that kind of level. So it really, really is about getting clear with yourself about the money and what you spend it on. Not giving into, like I did a whole thing about money can't buy happiness. Not allowing the ads to get in your psychology and make you think you need all these things. Where the soul does not need a whole lot to be happy. It doesn't need all these extravagant bells and whistles to be happy. That's the point that I was trying to express in that video. The soul just needs simplicity, contentment, freedom, and all of those things. That's what the soul needs. It's not like the ego that just is so demanding and so whatever. That's not the nature of the soul, and what it needs on a spiritual level. So it is about that. And instead of the luxury high life, instead of all the most extravagant food, the most extravagant restaurants, the most extravagant meals and things that you're buying or whatever, focus on the simple pleasures. Focus on what you can engage in with your five senses, such as good food, the people that you're closest to in your life, nature, music. All these simple pleasures that are apart from buying all these luxurious things, buying all these big expensive. Because it's really your ego that needs all of these fancy things and all of these, all of these elements of your life to decorate your life to make it yourself feel so good. It's really coming down to the simple things. And the simple things really would make people truly happy, not these extravagant things that are on a high level. The simple things make the soul happy. Because it's all we need to feel happy is the simple things. And I expressed that very deeply in that episode that you can go check out that I did on Tuesday of this week. So it's about focusing also on what your body needs, Leo. Focusing on your physical needs. This can be all these physical needs: food, water, exercise. Because your body is the vessel that we use to go. That we use, that our soul is in, to really guide us. So, and then also, this is deep. Leo can get so into its heart with its expression, and that's all a good thing. But when you are expressing yourself, when you're doing all these things that you want to express, all this music, all these plays, all these dramas, but you're ignoring your foundation, you're ignoring the fact that you need sleep, and you're so enthusiastic about something. You haven't had water in a while, and you need water. You actually need to nourish yourself with food or calm rest. Just rest and enjoying things. Just rest, and the body is not meant to overwork itself. Like, rest is also a bodily need. And so can you nourish these desires out very well for yourself in that kind of way, and not abandoning these things? So then Virgo, this is not about choosing to focus on the short-term routines and things that can, that you can get done, on your list. Not the things that you can easily get done. Focusing on what is stable for the long term that works for you. Not about, because Virgo can get so much into the list, all the details. I gotta clean the car. I got to clean up the kitchen. I got to take my medications. I got to go do these errands. I got to do all these details in the practical world. And it can be so many details, and Virgo can get so in the mind and in the weeds of all of those details that it fails to come back to center, and it fails to focus on the long-term things as opposed to what I need in the short term, what I need right now. It's about focusing on what I need long-term, what are the stable structures. Taurus and Capricorn are more stable, grounded signs. Virgo, not so much. So can you lean to the opposite sign, the other earth signs, Taurus and Capricorn, to ground you, Virgo? And then instead of going around in your head with all of these details of life that you spend your time on attending to, with your life, focus on your own physical needs as opposed to serving others' physical needs, as opposed to taking care of all these things in the practical world. The dishes have to get done, the tree have to be cut down, the flowers have to be planted, the dog has to be fed, I have to put the mail in the bank, I have to get my money from the bank, or, whatever these details are. It can be too much. And it's about focusing on your own physical needs. Nurturing your body is very, very good with this when it comes to that. And so really, nourishing the body is really, really huge with this. And it's about stop overworking yourself and being a slave to all the things on your to-do list. Because Virgo can get so overwhelmed with the list, and it feels like it's always have to be the one responsible. Why am I always the one that has to do the dishes and clean up after everybody's mess? Why always, including my own? Why am I always the one that has to do all of this? Where you're not alone. You have others to support you. And it's about focusing on enjoying the simple pleasures and stopping the work. It's about, really, it is about just getting out of the work and the need to always take care of every little detail in life and just relax. Just relax and enjoy the nice, food. And, enjoy the process. Like, take your time and don't rush the process of actually going through something. Be grounded in yourself. Tap into your intuition, tap into your soul, and live from a stable place of taking your time through going through your list, because you can take your time. There's no rush, there's no timetable, really. You can take your time to enjoy and live a grounded, embodied experience with all these details that get taken care of. This mindset, I have to rush and have to, rush for this person, rush for that person, Ungrounded. So, take your time. Now, Libra. Delving more into Libra. So it's about doing what brings you a sense of inner peace and serenity. Doing what brings you that sense, and doing what brings comfort to your soul. This can be all these simple pleasures that I've spoken about with previous signs, in the Mars and Taurus video, but it can also be just being with the people that bring you peace and serenity. Being with those who bring you peace and serenity. Not being those who drain your energy, not being around those who overpower you, who emotionally abuse you, or who make you feel unworthy or are critical of you or project onto you their own negative feelings against you, whatever. But those who genuinely bring you a sense of inner peace and security within yourself. And it's about forming harmonious relationships full of affection, being very, very affectionate in those relationships. It's about being loving and having a kind and cozy connection with your partner. That's what it can really, really also be. Is really, really enjoying the time. Really just sitting, being present, and just grounding into the moment. Grounding into the now. And doing what makes you feel stable when it comes to connecting to the partners that you're connecting to. Doing what makes you feel stable in terms of having lovely and cozy connections. Really, really connecting deeply in that way where you're bonding in a very, very essential way. And then also focusing on the practical terms when it comes to money. um, the these practical things, and not spending your money on what you don't need, spending your money on what you don't want. Instead, asking yourself, what do I really need to spend it on? Instead of just getting caught in, all these wants of all these excessive things, because Libra can get so easily into that, because it's an air sign, has all these extravagant tastes. It wants to be in the beauty, it wants to be in the luxury of it. But so, what do I really need to spend it on? And this can also be entertainment, because entertainment is also a need, right? Because if we don't have entertainment, then we're just cooking and eating, and what are we going to do? Sit and just contemplate our lives and think all the time on our free time and just have nothing to do, nothing to occupy our time, just sit. I mean, we need books, we need videos to watch, we need music to listen to. Like, all this stuff is a need to make life fulfilling, to make life, meaningful, to occupy our time, to give us, we need this as humans, because we need something to fulfill us, something to give us an outlet, something to turn to, something to fall back upon that gives us comfort and stability, makes us happy. Makes us happy. And a lot of that can come from entertainment. So entertainment, is a need. Buying books, buying all these things, a need. So, what entertainment, going out to, a play or whatever, or going to, some place, an arcade, or, the tree fest show, or the house burning story put on. No, it is about what do I really need to spend my money on. Scorpio, and I know this, one of the tendencies to lay behind with Scorpio and Jen's bullish astrology for the soul is over concerned with other people's business. I know this energy very, very well, and I am just moving right away from this energy. I will eventually get to a place where I can care less about others' personal issues and psychological, stuff that doesn't involve me and my own personal life and my own personal stability and contentment and happiness within myself, and to where it, where I'm not in my values of my own personal integrity, because that's the Taurus North Node. Taurus is your opposite sign, and Mars is in your opposite sign. And Mars is in the opposite sign that, Mars rules Scorpio, and Taurus is the opposite of Scorpio. So instead of being, in the obsession, being, so obsessed with other people's business, focus on your own personal values. Because when you get into other psychological issues and others, stuff and problems in their life and all that kind of stuff, and you tune into the psychology and do all this, then you miss out on your own personal values, on what you personally find important to you, how you want to live your life with what truly matters to you, what truly brings you peace and stability for you. Who do you really value also in terms of relationship? That's the question that you could ask. Is not being with those who seem to take away your power, or seem to not understand the deep, shadowy aspects that you feel ashamed of within yourself, somebody who values you enough to help you heal those shadows, to help you to work through and transform and do the shadow work that Scorpios are here to do in this life, to evolve themselves, to become the highest versions of themselves, is to really, really go deep and do the deep work. And that also includes values. Like, through that deep work, you can get closer to your own personal values. So, what it's really about is, it's about doing things, being with those who really value you, to help you to transform, to help you to heal. Being with those that really see you for who you are in that kind of way is really what I'm talking about here. And so instead of the going all in risk mentality, because Scorpio can really, really just go all in completely and just abandon its peace, its stability, and its well-being, and its happiness, and its presence with life, and its enjoyment with life, with these obsessive risks and goals that it just digs itself into, and nosedives, really, really goes, all into all these things, just blinders on, and just full force, and vroom, I'm heading full force. But instead of, the going all in, mentality with taking risks, it is about focusing on, what gives you emotional comfort. What gives you, real, emotional comfort and, stability. What really makes you feel that, with, giving you that comfort. And focus on what brings you emotional comfort in this life. That's what I'm asking for you. It's about, instead of looking, away out of your psychological, emotional problems by, other people's business or other psychology or, I Survive shows or all these deep, dark things which are Scorpio, the dark sides of human nature. What it's really about. It's really about looking within. It's about looking within, with yourself and, at your environment, and seeing what can help you heal your psychological, emotional problems, help you to, release these shadows and face these shadows head on in a gentle, loving way. It doesn't have to be an intense, hard, tough way. It can be in a loving, gentle way that you do shadow work. Like, shadow work should be gentle. Like, gently healing your shadows with compassion, with love for yourself. And you know what? I love myself so much that I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to face what I'm afraid to face. And I'm willing to face all these things which within myself need to be faced. So it's about looking within, and at your environment, and seeing what can really give you that peace and security that your soul so desperately craves. And then slowing down your pace of going at something. Not needing to be so intense, just, full force, because Scorpio can just go in, without thought, without, consideration, without tapping into its intuition, just so obsessed with a goal, with utter focus, and, you're just committed, and you're just driven to just achieve it to the ends of the earth. And it's about, just slowing down the pace and taking your time with it, so that, you know what? I don't need to do this. It feels right to do something else, and stop and do something else. You know what? This actually, like, when you slow down, not just, a desire that you just follow, egoically, that you just go fully in, but, ask yourself deeply, like, do I really need to do this? Does it really, really feel right to go in this direction and to do this? Actually, it may feel right to do something else, or pace myself, going slowly as opposed to just rushing in, being kind to yourself. And Scorpio can really, really be so mean to itself, and Taurus is opposite sign, saying be loving to yourself, Scorpio. So, Sagittarius, how can you latch onto something that you want, that helps you to expand, that helps you to, grow in a way, and what really, really helps you expand, what really, really helps you grow, to, to travel to all the places that you want to travel to explore, to read the books that you want to read, to, to go around town, to explore, to expand your mind, to expand your soul on a soul level, and to live a life where your philosophy is so optimistic and positive that you're living in the flow state of the universe, that you're living in a open and abundant state when it comes to expanding where you are now to grow into a more higher version, more spiritual version of yourself. So what helps you to expand? What really helps you to expand yourself and expand your soul is about being committed to it. Being very, very committed to doing this thing very, very easily. And saying, I want to do this. Having the mindset, that I want to do this. And then also, instead of continually moving at a fast pace, where you are just, moving, so quickly and, not stopping, because Sagittarius is a mutable sign. And mutable signs, there's a restlessness with mutable signs, because they would always be on the move. They want to move, and they don't want to stay, like, mutable signs don't want to stay in one place like fixed signs do. They don't want to stay in one place. They want to move from one place to another very, very flowingly. Like, mutable signs want to flow. They want to move from one thing effortlessly and easily, oscillating, if that's the word, for one thing from another. And Sagittarius moves at a very, very fast pace when it comes to being very, very restless and determined to always be on the move. It's a very, very need to always be on the move. Well, you don't have to rush in this way. You can be moving. You don't have to stay in one place, because don't tell a Sagittarius to stay in one place. They'll just want to just move away from that. But you don't have to be fast about it. You don't have to be rushing about it. You can be slow about it. You can be steady about it. So slow down. Slow down and take your time traveling. Take your time moving from this activity to the other activity. Take your time growing yourself when it comes to whatever you're expanding in. And then you are meant to move at a slow and steady pace. You're not meant to rush to get to one place after another. Taurus is about the journey, that it takes time. Taurus says it takes time. It takes a slow and steady time to move from one thing to another. And it's about being very, very slow and steady to move in that kind of way. And Taurus is like, you don't need to rush. You can take your time. You're perfectly worthy of taking your time and enjoying life, and living moment to moment and everything like that, and living in a heart-to-heart way with yourself. So you aren't meant to rush with one place to the other. You have your whole life ahead of you. And surrender the need to always do everything. There's this need for Sagittarius to take on the world, to live the fullest life. There's this need for Sagittarius, like, I must do everything. I have all this optimism. I just want to do everything. Like, no. It's not humanly possible to do everything. So stop. Just surrender that, and just stop with the mindset of wanting to just do everything, because nobody can. Nobody can. So just do what you can and enjoy what you can and enjoy what you want to do. And just, it's about being present with that and enjoying it. Immersing yourself, as opposed to, I must do this thing. What about this next thing? What about this next thing? No. Enjoy the present moment. Enjoy doing what you can in that moment. Then Capricorn. Moving on to Capricorn. What do you want to do for the long term, Capricorn? What do you want to do for the long term? That can be a goal that you want to pursue, or whatever structure that you are getting yourself into with that. It is really about it's really about what structures do you want to set up that is sustainable for you, because Capricorn is all about those structures that are the structures that are sustainable to you. And sustainable structures is your speciality. So how can you create sustainability and creating something that is lasting for the long term? Because Capricorn is all about that long term kind of thing. So it's about building those structures, building those foundations. Capricorn is so ambitious with the goal and the prestige and all these superficial things that it can forget what it really needs on a soul level is something sustainable, something stable, something. Capricorn needs foundations to go off of. If you don't have the foundations, physical foundations to build, it's like you can't just start building a building at the middle level, at the top level. You need to start at the bottom and build your way up. You need to start at the root, at the foundation, and that's where Cancer can come in. What are your emotional foundations? But now we're talking about physical foundations. So what are those structures that need to be put in place, Capricorn? And then sometimes you overwork yourself so much. Sometimes it's so much about working and hustling so aggressively, and this belief that you have to work hard for things. Work hard for just the basic things in life, really, and work so hard and slave away, and I've worked so hard for the life I have, and you get high and mighty with yourself. Well, no, the truth is that you do what your intuition tells you to do, and you co-create with spirit. Know that you co-create. You're not just working so hard and manifesting this reality on your own. You have spirit as a partner to co-create this life with. So stop overworking yourself so much. And, I want you to focus or consider focusing on your physical needs. Focusing on, your bodily needs. What you need to feel nourished. What you need to feel safe. What you need to feel secure. And not so much about these goals that you have for yourself. Just come back to your body. Come back to the center. That's very important for Capricorn. And then, what brings you a sense of comfort? Also going along with this, what brings you comfort? What grounds you as opposed to just motivates you? In terms of, I want to achieve this goal. I want to work so hard to get in this business or get in this job, or get this project done, or get this book done, or make this business the best that I can, and up level my business or whatever. No, this is not about that. This is about doing things. Coming back to what brings you comfort, what brings you peace, what brings you what makes you feel comfort. Taurus is about comfort. Taurus wants to be comfortable, and in that kind of way. So what grounds you in that kind of way? So then Aquarius, moving on to Aquarius now. Aquarius, you can really ground yourself. It's very important to ground yourself. I've said that to a lot of the signs already, and actually become more earthbound when it comes to getting your goals accomplished. Actually, focusing on the goals that you want to get accomplished, being very focused on those goals. As opposed to being up in the mind, because Aquarius is so much in the mind, in the ideas, in the the theories, and the in these grand visions that it has, and all the little details of all what it wants to do for humanity, of all the tables to put up, of all these kind of things, that it forgets about its own personal values at times, its own personal goals. And at best, Aquarius can focus on its values because it is a fixed sign. And so it's about focusing on your values and knowing your values and determining your values and living out your values and your ideals and being very firm and strong in those kind of things. And so then moving deliberately also when it comes to knowing your values and pursuing them is also really huge. Pursuing your values, which are core beliefs and principles that you live by. And Aquarius lives from a place of integrity. Aquarius is a very integrity-based sign, live from a place of own personal truth about things. So can you move in a way when it comes to, knowing these values and being very, very intentional about moving in that way. And I think that, Aquarius is sort of, at the lowest vibration, at one of the lower frequencies of Aquarius is being so Uranian that it just acts on these whims and wild ideas that there's no grounding to that. And remember that Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn, the planet of groundedness and stability and structure and all that. So, so knowing your values and pursuing them. And then, what are your material needs also? Not so much your idealistic mental needs, but and it's not these needs that are for all of humanity, not these needs that, need you to help and support all of humanity in order to attend to these needs, but the needs that you need for yourself, the needs that you need for your own personal body, physical well-being, and life, and what you need in your own life, your job, your house, your the food on the table, the clothes that you wear, all these material needs that you need, that to attend to. With all this is very, very important. For focusing on right here and right now. What can you do right here and right now to attend to yourself, and value yourself, and focusing on those material needs? So then, finally, Pisces. So Pisces is very, very mutable sign. It's very, very bendable sign. It can be really, really bending with the wind. You bend with the wind, Pisces. Pisces really, really bends. It's very, very, goes wherever its soul takes it. It goes wherever its intuition takes it. But sometimes it can become victim and burden to its intuition, where they're not rooted down into earth, and they're not rooted down into groundedness. And when I say this, I mean just sort of wishy-washy in a way where they are not grounded. And I'm not saying get out of your soul and intuition. I think that your soul at this time is really going to crave stability, because we all need stability and we all need to feel grounded. And Pisces gets so, into, surrendering to the universe and all that, that it forgets its power, forgets that it is also a co-creator of, its life. That's what Pisces can forget. Pisces can get so very much into the surrender process that it forgets, I also co-create my life. So that's also very, very important. I can be empowered and authentic in that, in that process. I can create my own reality and be my true self and all that I talk about very, very strongly as an Aries sun. So, being rooted and, achieving something. I was talking to my grandma, who is a Pisces, who has Sun in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. And she was telling me, not any Pisces person that I have met actually is very, very successful at things. Not one of them. And I think that speaks to the energy of Pisces, because Pisces is not very earthbound. Because Pisces is not connected to this earthy, practical, logical reality. It isn't bounded out. It is a very, very reflective energy that is about, the dreams, the fantasies. It is, from another world. It isn't in a very, very dreamy, reflective, feminine energy that it's not connected to actually achieving an earth. So Pisces at best can ground its dreams into reality. It has a lot of dreams, and how can you turn those dreams into reality? And, how can you contribute to the greater world in that way? So, requires, commitment. And, to achieve something, it really, really requires, commitment and stubbornness. It requires you to be stubborn when it comes to being focused and fixated, and actually focusing your attention. Very, very hard for Pisces to do, but focusing your energy, channeling your energy into what you are doing, into what you are acting upon, into what you are trying to achieve to actually manifest and getting done. Like, that's how this 3D reality works. Is, if you focus and you have will and stubbornness to do that, then then if you are willing to do the work, and if you're focused, then in 3D reality, then you will achieve it. So can you be stubborn and focused and steadfast in that achievement? And then also focusing on grounding and moving in a slow and steady way. Not when it comes to grounding, it's not, don't think it's about rushing and so aggressive and so uncompassionate and so selfish that you have those beliefs. It's not. It really, really isn't. When you are grounded, you are loving yourself and you are loving to yourself, Pisces. You are loving yourself. So understanding self-love is very, very important. Don't think just about just caring for others and all that, and abandoning and sacrificing yourself and taking care of everybody else's needs except yourself. Like, you're meant to take care of your own vessel, your own soul, your own selfless life. So focusing on grounding and moving in a slow and steady way throughout this transit. And, it's like, I'm asking you, I'm inviting you, can you do that? Can you live that out? And trusting that Spirit will support you and always be there for you if you go this route. Because Spirit will always be there for you. Spirit will always be, there to support you and there to guide you and be on your side. You're not alone. Don't think that if you're putting all the work in, you're not alone. You have Spirit to be there with you, to help you, to tell you what, to be a guide for you, to tell you. You don't have to do it all on your own, Pisces. You do have your intuition to help you, to show you, okay, this is the right move to go here. This is the right move there. You have your inner spirit. You have help and you have support for you to be empowered to make your own decisions and do all that with what feels right. And that's the truth of who you are, is in your intuition. So can you ground and be very, very deliberate and not give up on what you actually want to achieve? Like, whatever that dream is, turn it into reality. You make it a reality. And what brings you a sense of grounding and peace that stabilizes you. What brings you back to center. Music. Nice soft music. Like, Pisces is very, very good at soft music. It can be meditation. That really, really grounds you, brings you peace. It can bring you a nice movie to watch where you're getting out of the toughness of reality, because Pisces can get into that. It can be sitting and petting your dog, or reading something that stabilizes your mind and gets your mind out of the troubles of your life. I mean, whatever it is, what grounds you, what brings you peace. And, for that matter, what raises your frequency, Pisces. Really, really raises your vibration in that kind of way. This is the time to really, really focus in on what truly raises your vibration. So that is all that you need to know for Mars and Taurus, for all the 12 signs. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope that you found value out of it. If you did, then I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, because I'd love you to join this community of hopefully like-minded, authentic and spiritual souls that I want to build on this channel. I want to build this kind of community from my heart, and your support means so much to me. I really, really greatly appreciate your support. So it really, really means a lot that you contribute to this channel by subscribing, so I encourage you to do that. And then also sharing this video and doing all these things is very, very important. Helps the channel out a lot to grow, so I encourage that. And anyway, I will see you in the next episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast, which will be if you're tuning in tomorrow for the podcast, we'll talk about Saturn and Leo in the natal birth chart, and how someone couldn't follow their heart, maybe had to follow their logic, couldn't be in the energy of self-expression, and being their true radiant self and shining was prohibited and forbidden and they're wanting to step into this. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow on tomorrow's podcast for the Saturn through the Sign series. The Saturday podcast is the general astrology video podcast. So anyway, tune in for that. I will see you in the next episode of the Cosmic Sky podcast. Take very, very good care of the beautiful and loving beings that you are, and so will I. Take good care.